Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Paige, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, and this is going to be my review for episode 11, otherwise entitled Here I Go Again. So obviously before we move on into the rest of the video, if you've not watched the episode, be sure to go check out the episode before checking out this video or review, because we're going to be talking about the spoilers from this episode. Even though it was a filler episode, there is still stuff to talk about. So it's better if you've gone and watched the episode. Our last episode was obviously the Constantine episode, and I guess the big thing to take from the Constantine episode moving forward is Constantine's words to Ray, where he said, yo, if Sarah is controlled by malice again, you might want to kill her, because it's not going to lead to anything good. And essentially that's where we're moving on from. Constantine, has been confirmed to be appearing in episode 16, I think it is, this season. And it looks like he's going to be in the finale as well. So 2 more episodes with Constantine, which is of course pretty damn awesome. But essentially the kicker off to this episode, which really does set up some stuff that's going to be happening later in the episode, is Zari not really getting on that great with Gideon. And then having some confrontation because Zari is really taking care of the ship's like mainframe, if you want to call it, and all the technological aspects of it due to her background as a hacker and her being, fairly familiar with that. But because Gideon's in there, the AI, they're, having some, they're clashing definitely, and it's causing a bit of tension there. So that really does set up some stuff that we have later in the episode. Now, if you watch like the promo stuff for this episode, you could tell that the Legends were going to the 70s, and that's where this episode would sort of begin from. Either us seeing that or they're coming back from it. Now, we didn't get to actually go where they went, but we did see them returning, and that's where Zara was. Zara was like, taking care of the ship while they all went and did their 70s action. And they were dealing with Napoleon Bonaparte, who, I think he was like something around Waterloo, like the ABBA song, because, Napoleon, Waterloo, all of that stuff. So I thought that was a nice tie-in, and basically the Legends are dressed like ABBA. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for, at least the females, at least. So yeah. But we do find out that Zari is essentially trying to hack history. That's probably the best way to put it, by installing a simulation program into Gideon so they can go over certain things, which once again does set up some stuff later for the end of the episode. Some people were like surprised with what happened at the end of this episode, but they really do set it up at the beginning of the episode, so it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise what was going on. If you think about it, but essentially Zara was setting up this simulation thing to attempt to like figure out how to hack history and fix her life up, which, is possible, seeing that we wouldn't really be dealing with too much from the past in regards to our eyes. Now, the sort of like beginning or end, which came first, the beginning or the end in this case, I guess, is like the wave rider blowing up. This is what begins the time loop or ends the time loop, whichever way you want to say, or just resets the time loop, might I say. And we've seen it with like various projects, like they mention, do they mention source code in this episode? They mention like Groundhog Day and stuff like that. But there's other movies like Source Code, Age of Tomorrow, or Live Die Repeat, even like Happy Death Day and stuff, where like your death just restarts at like a time loop until you figure out what's going on, might I say. So we had that this episode. So it's not like a new concept, like it's been used a lot of times, but it is a fun concept when done correctly. And I think for the most part, this episode did the time loop thing pretty well. But of course, due to this time loop, Zari has to just basically try and convince the Legends as to what's going on. So her main 2 people that do help her are Nate and Ray. And some people might find this pretty funny because Nate essentially, or even you can argue Ray, like either or, Nate and Ray basically been turned into like the same character this season. They have like the same attributes, the same characteristics. They are even like best friends on the show. So some people might find this like an in-joke, but Zari is using 2 characters that are pretty similar to try and solve out this issue with the time loop. But Nate is basically the go-to person with like all the Groundhog Day stuff. So I guess Nate was the more helpful of the 2, but Ray definitely did help when he could. Like throughout the episode, I was essentially calling Zari and Nate like time detectives or time loop detectives, whichever one you want to call it. I guess the Legends themselves are time detectives, but in regards to this specific premise and this episode, I was calling them time detectives. I don't know if anyone else was calling them something else. Let me know if you were in the comments. But one of the more funny moments, and it's no surprise it's coming from Mick Rory, aka Heatwave, is that he, Heatwave is actually a romance author, or at least a budding romance author with that sci-fi romance novel, which I'll tell you what, I want to hear more of it. We need an episode dedicated to Mick's like romance novel. You know how shows might take something that's like within the show, so like someone might be like writing a movie script, writing a play, writing a TV show or something, and they'll dedicate an episode to replicating what they were writing. Legends needs that with mixed romance novel, like a condensed version. You know, when you take a novel and turn it into a movie, we need like a condensed version of it, and we need like the Legends playing different parts. Screw it. That's the next crossover. Next year's crossover, stuff aliens, stuff multiverse, stuff any major threat. We need a replication or like a, you know, just them using this novel and showing it on screen. You know, like a live action version of it. That's what we need for next year's crossover. Stuff everything else. We need mixed romance novel as next year's crossover. Oliver is the main star. Ooh, who do they get as the female lead, as the romantic interest? Ooh, that's gonna shippers, Oliver and Iris. Let's just clash Felicity and West Ellen together and cause some tension there. Let's do it. Now, one scene that was like fun, I guess that's what they were going for, but also was pretty important, was the tiny Zari and Ray. So when Ray shrinks Zari down so they can sort of like spy on Sarah when she's in that the jump ship, because it looks a bit suspect. Obviously, she's just in there to talk to Agent Sharp. It's like a secret conversation area, and I don't know how much you can flirt, but I think Agent Sharp flirted as much as you possibly can. But we'll see where that goes. But yeah, it was during the scene that Zari really learns that Sarah does respect her and sees her as an important part of the team. And I think Zari sees through her eyes what Sarah's going through. Like Sarah has to be this, like, you know, commanding force, this captain. She can't be laid back because they need to get stuff done. And if she's relaxing and being laid back, it wouldn't get done. So Sarah has to be a hard ass in order to get things done. And I think Zari just didn't understand that at the time. But now after, you know, seeing Sarah talk like that, she now understands. Another fun part of this episode, there were a couple of fun parts, I'm not going to lie. And as you would expect in like a filler episode, they're going to make it funny and, you know, joyful in certain parts. We had like the Zari fun montage or fun time montage, however you want to call it. We even saw her wearing like the Hawkgirl mask, wearing Heatwave's outfit and stuff like that. Hawkgirl mask coming out was random as well, because wouldn't have Kendra taken that with her? I don't know. I shouldn't look too deep into it, but yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, fun time montage, can't beat them. Now, I was wondering about the time loop, because I was like, okay, well, something's got to be causing the time loop. There can't be like this inner message, oh, like Zari has to solve everything. They actually, even if like the end of the episode they do reveal what happens there has to be something within what's going on to explain the time loop and sort of push things forward. And we find out that Gary, while stuck in the trash, has the thing that's causing the time loop. I think they call it like a chromal something, some like scientific term or technological term, they called it something like that. But I do find it funny that they put Gary in the trash, and they even do reference at the end of the episode that the person that put, or the identity that put Gary in the trash just thought it would be funny. So it was pretty funny just finding Gary in the trash, because Gary is a bit of a meme. Now, I guess one of the big questions like throughout the episode was like, what is blowing up the Wave Rider? Like, it's obviously a bomb, but where is this bomb? And it's actually in the tape that Mick brings back from the 1970s, like in that Napoleon, it was just like a best of the 70s tape or something like that, or like, yeah, something like that. So that's where it was. And that was what was causing all the explosion. Now, I think one of the best parts of the episode, I think this is what this episode was 110% going for, was Zari learning more about the Legends, getting closer to them. So that scene where Zari's like locked herself in the that area, whatever you want to call it, with the bomb and the force fields going to take the whole explosion and stuff like that. That was what this episode, I think, was going for. That nice scene where she reveals all of her true feelings and stuff about all the Legends and all her teammates and stuff, which I thought was a great scene. And as I said, what this, for the most part, this episode was going for. And I think that scene was a really nice moment and continues on. You know, it just like, what's the word? It just melds Zari better in with the Legends, because she's the new member for this season. She's always going to feel like an outcast, I guess. Not necessarily because she's the new member, but also because she's from the future. She doesn't necessarily relate directly to everyone in the Legends. You could argue it's like a Maya last season. Like, there's just that distance in, you know, how everyone is. You know what I mean? Like their personalities and stuff. So this episode definitely melded Zari. You know, you could say closer with like Nate and Ray, but definitely Sarah as well. And I think Zari was always close to Amaya anyway, because they're, you know, females that aren't the captains, so they already had like a bond. But I think this episode did a really good job in this particular scene in regards to melding Zari better with the Legends. But obviously the big reveal, and as I said, it was set up earlier in the episode, so it wouldn't come as too much of a surprise, I guess, when it gets revealed. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like at the beginning of the episode, they set this all up, and we do find out that Zari was actually in a simulation of essentially which the end goal was for her to stick with the Legends, if that makes sense. And for her to grow closer to the team, to like, you know, be a team. You know, as I said, Zari was always that, not necessarily a complete outcast, but didn't necessarily feel like she was one, like it was one big unit. You felt like it was the Legends and then, you know, Zari there as well. So this, you know, the end goal was for her to grow closer with the team, become a team, and that's what ended the time loop and this in the simulation, might I say. I did also find it funny when Gideon, I think Zari asked Gideon about the bomb, like, why put the bomb in there? And then Gideon was like, oh, it's just a plot device. That's hilarious, because like these shows and stuff like that, and various other shows, they'll put like a bomb or like a random villain, just a plot device. It's just something for our heroes or the protagonist to take down. So I thought that was funny that they actually had that meta joke within this episode. But then the last scene, as we predicted, I think we talked about in my trailer breakdown for this episode, and we're talking about it. As expected, it was a quick, you know, 20-second scene with Wally West in China, meditating, bun in his hair, and Rip Hunter approaches him and needs his help. So I think we did talk about, I can't remember, sorry, if it was in my trailer breakdown for this episode. I want to say it was, because I think that was the most recent video I did in regards to Legends. So yeah, that happened. So next episode, Wally won't be there. So in episode 13, that's going to be Wally, you know, joining the Legends. We could see an end credit scene again next week in episode 12, but episode 13, the week after next week, is going to be the episode that we officially see Wally join the Legends. But because Flash is back next week, we could see Wally appear on the Flash quickly, and it could be a moment between him and Joe, just saying like, yo, I'm joining the Legends, going on the wave rider, going to be traveling through time. Hopefully they do that, because it's just going to be weird if Flash just does not acknowledge like Wally going through time. It'd be weird if they did that. So we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. But you know, Wally's officially on Legends now, but we'll have to wait till episode 13, I guess, till he's officially with all the other Legends. And yeah, but overall, as I said at the beginning of the video, this episode was pure filler. Like, it was a pure filler episode, I guess, arguably, except for the end bit with Wally, because it sets up some future stuff for the season, but that was like a 20-second end credit scene, so you can't really take too much from that. The rest of it was pure filler, just for Zari and her relationship with the rest of the team. That's about it. But it was a really fun episode to watch anyway. Like, I'd rewatch it in a heartbeat. I thought it was a lot of fun. I do like the concept of the time loop. And I think that the show did a pretty good job on, you know, adapting that premise and the concept of the time loop, because, you know, it's not a hard one to adapt, but to adapt it well and make it interesting and not boring is pretty, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do. And I think the show did it pretty well. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite part of the episode. Looking forward to Wally West on Legends for the rest of the season. As I said, not next week, unless it's like another end credit scene. Episode 13, the week after next, is the episode he like officially joins the Legends. So I have to wait a bit longer to get the Kid Flash on the wave rider. But it's not too long of a wait. And yeah, just leave all your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.